What's up, man?
Much, dude. How you doing?
Not too shabby. Um, hope you're doing well yourself. What are you here for, buddy? What's your MMR? What are we doing, etc.?
I am like 4.5k.
Okay.
I used to be a lot higher, and I'm trying to like climb back up.
What were you? What was
And I
your
wanted to look
max?
at 5.4, I think.
5.4.
That was like a while ago. I stopped playing Dota for a long time, so it's kind of like weird.
Okay, gotcha. What's your primary role?
One. I played a lot of 3 last patch in pubs, just because like kind of sucked playing 1. It's pretty dog. It's pretty dog.
It was.
And okay, so in particular, I want to watch this Slark game. I more want you to help me with like my thought process when I'm like reviewing a game.
Okay.
Pertain to the Slark game for most of the game, so I know exactly the moments I want to talk about. We can take a look.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm just like clearing my throat.
Prior, I can ask you the questions I had written out at the end of this. Okay. So once I get my Shadow Blade, do I hunt for supports, or is priority farming? Like, if I could easily farm my lane plus the jungle, can I sort of be like, all right, I have my Shadow Blade, but it doesn't really matter. I understand where Slark like. I don't understand when Slark out carries. I don't understand when he should be playing essentially as a ganking 2, or when he should be played as sort of like a Ryzen 1.
Okay.
For me to play Slark, because I only like to play heroes like Loon. I like stuff where I gain MMR solely by just having better farming patterns.
You just farm faster than the other guy. Yeah. You're like the opposite of me almost, because like even though people traditionally think of me as like an AFK player, I actually all of my favorite heroes are like Slark, Ursa, Lifestealer. So it's
yeah,
just
like when you play pro games, I don't feel like you're just AFK racing.
yeah, for sure. I mean, I think it's funny how common that misconception is of me, because like there's a lot of things I don't do right, but for whatever reason, people think I AFK farm a lot. So okay, I agree that it's a nice skill to add to your set. So I can. Do you have any other preliminary questions? I'm not going to answer those now. By the way, I'm going to wait till I see the game.
Okay.
Because I'm going to give you things to think about that are in relation to those questions when you show me the game.
All right. And when do people buy Midas on Slark? I see a lot of high MR players doing it, and I just don't really understand like why they buy it in the games they do.
Okay, go ahead and send me the replay real quick. And
I actually bought Midas this game, but I'll explain my thought process during it.
You what? Oh, you bought Midas.
I bought Midas
okay.
in this game that I'm talking about. My decision. And,
okay, so basically, what was your what was your mindset behind Midas? So, like, what do you think of Midas on a hero like Slark?
I bought it because I felt like I was falling behind in EXP to the enemy 1. Okay, start, and I just felt like I was doing some things around the map, and I was actually farming pretty adequately, but I just felt like I was still behind the faceless.
Okay.
Outscaled super too hard if I didn't get it.
Okay. Usually my mindset behind Midas is on any hero. There's a couple things I think about. First off, what am I going to be doing? Like, if I don't buy Midas, what item am I buying? When I buy that item, what's my game going to look like? Like, if I go Shadow Blade instead of Midas, what is my game going to look like? Comparatively. So, like, there are games where it takes understanding to know that when I buy Shadow Blade, I'm still just going to hit creeps anyway. Like, for the most part. And there's games where if I buy a Shadow Blade, I can get 3 kills. And it's really important that I get those kills. So that's a game where going Midas would be really bad. Basically, if you go Midas and the game looks incredibly similar to what it would look like if you didn't go Midas, that's the best Midas games. Like, when the game looks very close to what it would look like otherwise. So, like, yesterday I played Slark, and I bought Midas because my lane was so bad that even if I went Shadow Blade, I wouldn't be able to do anything. So
gotcha. Okay, that makes sense.
I knew I would be farming for a while anyways, so I just bought a Midas. There are games where... So, let's equate Midas on Slark to, like, Battle Fury on Jug, or, something like that. Like a farming item. Farming-heavy item. The 2 times you can... Or, like, the cases where you can... I don't know what happened there. The cases where you can go... Oh, I'm going to share a screen with you. The cases where you can go these farming items is one where you're so far behind that the only way back in the game is to farm. and you know you'll have the space to farm based on what's happening in the game. So what I mean is, if you're far behind and two of your other cores are far behind, going farming items isn't exactly ideal because there's not going to be anywhere to farm on the map. You actually have to like fight your way back into the game. But like when I was Slark, like literally on stream yesterday, I was Slark, and I asked right when my lane was bad. I looked and I said it on stream like vocally. Okay, my mid laner's winning, my off laner's doing fine. I'm like, and then I started jungling and bottom Midas. So like I knew I would have enough space to farm with that Midas. The other option is that you're far enough ahead that you are pretty unkillable, like you're survivable. And even if you wanted to fight, it's not exactly like what your hero should do. So like if I'm a Jug, for instance, and I'm ahead, and the other team has a hard time killing me, but if I walk into them when they're 4 or 5, I'm just going to die every time. I'm not going to go fighting items. I'll just go Battle Fury because I know I'm survivable, but I can't really fight them head on. So I'm going to accelerate my own farm and get the 3 items I need to fight them faster or whatever. Like there's just certain games on these elusive heroes where they can't kill you, but you can't fight them. Like I'm sure you've been in those games before, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So that's the kind of spot where that's a good farming item. Like you can go Midas or Battle Fury or, whatever farming item it is for that hero. So like if I'm a Slark, there may be some games this patch that I would go Midas even if I knew I could fight, or if I knew okay. Basically at that point, if I go Midas instead of Shadowblade, the question I have to ask myself is it more important that I represent kill threat on their supports, or that I just farm faster? Like, what actually matters more this game? Like, there is a different answer every game. So, like, I will ask myself, if I buy a Midas, where am I farming and what does that accomplish? If I buy a Shadowblade, where am I going with it and what does that actually accomplish for my team?
It seems to me like you want to buy like Midas in games where like you don't like you think you can get away with it, and where you're playing against a carry that's gonna like, I don't know, like ramp up faster. Like at least that's what it like feels like. like in games where you're trying to like outscale, or like you're trying to keep an advantage for more of the game.
Yeah, that's partially true. Like that definitely is one of the reasons why I would buy a Midas.
Mm-hmm.
The idea
as for the replay,
go ahead.
The lane went okay to like 650, and they said do an aggro tri lane. And at 730, I want to see if you think that I made like a bad TP, or if the TP was like the right one.
For sure, I always look at TPs very critically, but I'll make sure I look at that one.
Okay.
Like even more so. Okay.
Oh,
obviously not the best mechanical execution, but none of this is stuff I can talk about. The Pounce level 1's really good just because you're against Grimstroke. You actually like have to level Pounce. Here's an instance of right. What are you afraid of right now?
I don't think I should be too afraid right now. Didn't they just blow their cooldowns?
Yeah. So what do I care about? What are you missing?
I'm kind of afraid of them punching me. No?
Okay, so you just don't want to walk into melee range of Tiny, right?
Yeah.
So what is Tiny doing right
now? He's about to last hit and push the wave to me.
Okay, so what could you do right now while he's still level 1? Walk up and aggro the creeps. Pull these creeps here, and then pull them here, and then pull them into your tower.
Gotcha.
If you don't do that, you're going to be farming like 2 creep waves under your tower, and you don't want to do that. My point is,
okay, that makes sense.
Right? If you reset the lane, refresh cooldowns, can you fight them, or can you even walk up for aggro? Really?
No.
Not really. So
punch me and run at me.
What I look at in lanes like this, God, what is wrong with my throat? 1 second here. Something's wrong. Okay. So if the enemy team has cooldowns or abilities that threaten you, or are just powerful for whatever reason, which is pretty common, honestly, you need to understand what they're preventing you from doing. So, whether that be walking up to the lane, whether that be hitting the other guy, whether that being that you lose trades, whether that being that they can actually kill you, like, what do those abilities do for them against you? So, Tiny without Tree, without Avalanche, is pretty dog shit. He actually is. Like, you don't want to trade with him, though, because you don't have Essence Shift, right? Like, and you're 1v2. But they have no threat on you. So walk up and pull these creeps away. Like, don't let these creeps stay here. What ends up happening is you're going to miss this one because of it.
Gotcha.
If he wanted to, he can deny it, which he should. Yeah. That's what happened there, is the net effect of you being afraid when they have nothing to threaten you. But now, you know, that they have their shit back, you need to be more afraid. You're level 1. You should have creep aggroed there to pull away from the Tiny. Luckily, he's just nice enough to not go for denies. And this is the... I don't think this should work. That was a really bad idea, by the way. What is the purpose of Pounce in this lane, actually? Think it to yourself.
To get away.
To get away from what?
Spell.
What?
The Grimstroke spell. I don't know what it's called.
It's called Inkswell, but yeah, you know. So when are you allowed to aggressively pounce in this lane?
When he's already used
Okay.
that spell.
Let's be honest. If these guys had any remote amount of coordination, this guy just Inkswells is Tiny, and they fucking kill you.
Yeah.
Do they not? Like,
I was thinking I'd be able to walk off to the trees while he's leashed, but it was probably a bad play regardless.
Like, the point is, though, holy moly, it's like if I have Doppel against this lane on PL, I'm literally not allowed to Doppel unless he has Inkswell on cooldown. Like, I cannot use it. Like, it's the same with Pounce. Like, no ability in the game outtrades Inkswell. Like, it just doesn't. I've realized that. It just, nothing. Nothing outbeats this. So, like, if you have any way to dodge that ability, you can't use it. And if you don't have a way to dodge that ability, that hero is almost impossible to play against, but I'm not even going to worry about that. Yeah, like, if they were coordinated, you 100% die here.
Yeah, I think I realized that, like, after I did it.
Yeah, but the point is, I was saying it was okay that you leveled your Pounce level 1. Usually, I think it's bad to level your Pounce level 1. But in this lane, you just need to not die. Like, you're not going to win the trades if you go Essence Shift. It's like, what does Essence Shift do for you? It lets you hit the guy and trade favorably. But trade favorably doesn't matter for shit if they have two abilities that combined do, like, 400 damage to you. Like, who gives a shit if you can right-click the guy better than he can right-click you? If they can nuke you for 400 damage. Like, nobody cares, right? So you wouldn't level your Essence Shift level 1. The idea is understanding the impact of what each skill on every hero does. Like, what does it... Like, this lets me trade favorably, so I'm going to level it in lanes where I'm actually allowed to hit the guy. This lets me get away or lock him down. So if I offer kill potential, I need to get away, this is my ability. Like, this allows me to walk up and secure creeps through a guy's stun. Like, I'm allowed to walk up to a range creep against a Sven or a Wraith King or something like that and like, reliably get the CS if I preemptively packed. Like, that's what this ability lets me do. You see what I'm saying? Like...
Yeah, no, I got it. Usually if I lane against, like, a Centaur War Runner, I hit a game later like that, where I can just sort of level up E and, like, punch him to death.
Yes. Exactly.
I can do that if I'm able to.
The point is, you have to... if you mess up that critical thinking, it will just get you killed. Like, this... Like, I still do it, too. Like, the idea is the higher and more you go, the less you mess that kind of shit up. But the point is, you have to know exactly what Pounce does for you in every lane. And in this lane, it's an escape from Inkswell. And the only time you're allowed to use it aggressively is when Inkswell's on cooldown. That's the entire point of this conversation. But you need to approach every hero like that. You know, every hero has different tools. Like, on Jug, sometimes spin is, like, incredibly powerful. Sometimes spin is only defensive. Like, you know, like, that's just how it is. And you need to think about that going into the lane. That should affect your starting items. That should affect the items you build next. I mean, in this patch, it shouldn't affect your items. You just go 4 Wraith Bands anyway. But that's neither here nor there. I'm sure by the time people watch this coaching session, that will be nerfed, because Wraith Bands are bullshit. Okay, so...
You think that no talismans are just way too weak?
I don't think they're way too weak, but I think Wraith Bands
to
are
bracers,
way too...
though,
yeah, maybe you're right. I don't know. I think kind of. I think overall, like, I actually was willing to take days off for holiday right now, like meaning like I was debating between streaming and like spending time with like family and stuff, and I literally was willing to take time off because I knew this patch was like so poorly balanced so far. Like they're doing a good job of like slowly but surely balancing it, but like it's still not, you know. So I was like, I'm not even concerned about like I'm not in a qualifier or anything right now. I'm gonna take some time off because this shit, like you're saying, is just so poorly balanced. So this is good. You knew that he used Ink Swell and you pounced in. That's good. And you get 2 kills.
Yeah.
Cool. Good.
So I think okay, upcoming is the part where they start to like aggro try me, and I think this is where I make a TP soon, and I just want to know what's up with that.
Okay. So how do I word this? So in every circumstance in any lane, I think to myself, can I walk up? Okay, like what is the lane like? This is looking at our levels, this is looking at the heroes in the lane, and this is looking at lane equilibrium. Okay, so the important thing that you always have to gauge is, can I fucking walk up to this lane? So I said this in the first session, you probably weren't here though. Right now.
I saw the tail end of it.
Okay, so I don't know if that was in the tail end of it. So basically, you know you have a Grimstroke in your lane. You know Tiny's going to be in your lane. And suddenly you see a Shadow Shaman, right? So my thing is, you have to, right now, assume the worst. That's actually what you have to do, right? Like, you have to assume in any circumstance like this that there will be 3 heroes in your lane. The only time you can assume there's not 3 heroes in your lane is if you literally see somebody that's not in the lane. So, if there are 3 heroes in this lane, can you walk up and farm?
No. I think at this point I'm waiting for them like to show. Because I know Tiny's about to come back. So if Tiny TP's still lane, and if I see Grimstroke as well, then I know that this lane is kind of dead for me. Like, there's just nothing I can do there. Because
But there
if I get
is.
shackled and I purge that, like, well, in the lane, like pull aggro, I guess. Well, yeah, no, the jungle. Like, there's nothing I can do like, in the lane. Like, I can't farm the lane.
Well, how is this? This isn't the jungle. This is the pole camp that resets the lane equilibrium underneath your tower. Can those 3 heroes kill you underneath your own tower? At level 4?
Probably not.
Yeah, they can't kill you underneath your own tower. Like, no way. I call the bluff on that one. They can't kill you underneath your tower if you're not like a potato. So you see this guy. Your immediate thought process is, I'm assuming all 3 heroes are here. I can't lane right here. I'm going to go pull, because why is it so important that I pull right now rather than like 7:15?
Because this way when I do it now, like by the time they get back, I'll have a like wave under my tower. That's safe.
Basically, by the time they get there, you've already pulled. If at 7:15, if they're any good, they're going to not let you pull.
Okay.
They're going to send 2 heroes here and the Shadow Shaman's going to follow you over here. Like, that's what's going to happen. Good players will do that. I'm not your tier, honestly, they probably won't. Like
it's like 50-50.
The point is, you're giving them a chance to counterplay you, right? Like, you're giving them a shot. So what I'm emphasizing is, whenever the lane's this far up, your considerations always have to be whether or not you can actually lane the lane. And if you can, you have to go pull. If this pull camp's blocked, that's a whole nother ball game. Like, if you walk over here and this is blocked, and you don't think you can jungle yet, yeah, you need to go bottom. But you going bottom without pulling this is like really bad.
But he won't read my resub.
Definitely really bad. Like, you should always make use of this pole camp and reset the lane. Because if you can't occupy the lane, the odds are someone on your team cannot. So you've had about a minute to process that you're supposed to pull. And you have not. And you TP. Yes, this is quite bad. Your Dazzle can't lane here either. Yeah. I mean, he shouldn't be allowed to. I don't know what just happened there. I understand you get a kill on Void. I don't know how else to explain it, other than if that Void doesn't decide to casually feed to you, this is a really bad play. Like, this will 100% happen. This Void should just not be an idiot. I don't know what happened here. I guess I can rewind. Let's see what fantastic play was concocted bottom. Void has a salve. So that's a play you made banking on the opponent's mistake. If you at 626 thought about what I told you and immediately pulled, there's no counterplay to what you just did. And if they keep 3 heroes top and you're under tower getting free XP against 3 heroes, you're okay with that, right? Like that's I think this TP is incredibly bad. I've done this a lot. Like I do this a lot. I still do it sometimes. The better the players are, the harder it is to make these decisions properly. Like that's why I still mess it up. Like if I was like, I'm trying to explain to you and everyone else that if I was against 4Ks, I would not mess up this decision. But against like 7.5 8K players, I will mess up this decision because of the amount of like pressure and how much harder it is to make these decisions. Like I still make these decisions improperly sometimes. But the point is like, usually it's because they'll perfectly counterplay whatever I'm doing. And then like I'll be like, shit, and then panic and do the wrong thing. The point is, as Slark, he's a hero that only rotates if he absolutely has to. So you have to expend all options. So if you had went, check the pole camp, you're level 4, it's not there, go ahead and go bottom. That would have been fine. But this is now your life. You're level 5 Slark on the offlane. Like, this blows. It's not good. You don't want this. Especially when, is Void a good core matchup for you?
No.
If that was a Jug safe lane, okay, sure, why not? Like, he doesn't really threaten you. You can lane against Jug just fine. I don't mind rotating. Whenever I think about rotating, I think about how do I match up against the core I'm against, and how do I match up against the core I'd potentially be rotating to. So, like, you don't die to Tiny once you get 6. Like, you just don't die. Like, unless you just royally fuck up, you don't die. So, with that in mind, I want to be against Tiny as much as possible in this game. And so if I rotate bottom, it has to be an absolute last resort. Like it has to be the only option I have. Like that's what I'm trying to emphasize here. Is it absolutely does have to be my last option. And
okay, even if I can get the faceless void out of lane, like right now he goes to jungle, it's still not worth it for me.
So do you actually think this void should be out of lane?
No, I don't think he should be.
Okay. That's
No.
That's your answer. Okay? You say this void's out of lane, doesn't that make this decision correct? This void shouldn't be out of lane.
Well, I'm not saying it makes the decision correct, but I'm saying at this point shouldn't I be staying in lane? If he abandons a lane like this randomly, even if he shouldn't.
Okay, absolutely. Absolutely. The point that I'm trying to make is the rotations that are really good, that make a lot of sense, is you doing this, he has to leave. Like, because of the nature of hero matchups. Like, if you're a Void and you're level 6, and you show up in a Slark's lane who's level 5, he should leave, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's like a pretty effective rotation by Void, to show up in a Slark's lane who's level 5 when he's level 6. This Void is just 4k, so he's jungling when a level 5 Slark's in his lane. Like, that's what's happening right now. There's like no complication to this, right? Like, he's just playing like shit, and he's letting, like, what you're doing here, because he left, is fine. Like, obviously. Like, what I'm saying is, if you know you're not supposed to be here because Void is here, and he's not here, then stay. Like, punish people's mistakes, for sure. But, like, the obviously the issue I have is that you showed up here in the first place. So if you did this and Void's constantly laning against you and bullying you, you actually just have to, like, walk into the jungle, or you have to walk back top. Like, why do you not TP top?
Why do I not TP top? I think at this time I was getting kind of like confused.
If you are getting bullied by a Void bottom, why do you have to walk to your own jungle or walk top? Why can't you TP top?
I probably could have, especially once I got 6 off the wave.
Why can't you TP top?
Right now?
If Void was bullying you and pushing you out of lane like he should be, why is it not reasonable for you to TP top?
I mean, it seems like it is reasonable at that point.
He will just TP and follow you, because he is a good player. What happens if you TP top and he TP's top? Aren't you fucked?
Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to point out to you here, is like, you can't TP to top if he was actually playing properly, because he'll just follow you. If you walk to jungle or walk to top, I guarantee you no Void is going to walk and follow you. If you walk top and he TP's top, then what do?
I go to the jungle.
You TP bottom or jungle, whatever. Like one of the, you go somewhere else because you know he TP'd there. Like my emphasis I'm trying to make is like the reason why this play is so bad at 7 minutes is because the hero that should be putting himself in your face, you're delivering yourself to him.
I got it. And like at this point, since I already TP down bottom, if I use a TP top, then he can immediately follow.
Yes. So what I'm saying is
now we're on like the same TP cooldown.
Yes. So my emphasis is I'm not trying to rehash that you should not be here. I'm trying to rehash that once you are here, you cannot leave by TP.
Okay.
That is what I'm trying to emphasize because you have to know why you're not supposed to be here. So I'm not supposed to be here because Void is not supposed to be against me. So I can't do something that allows him to reliably follow me. Like, I can't do that. I have to make him go out of his way to deal with me. Like, if a hero is trying to shut you down, you have to at least make them inconvenience themselves in order to shut you down. Like, you can't just let them conveniently TP to your lane and then know that they control your movements for the next 80 seconds. Like if I'm a good Void player, none of this shit's happening. But yeah, obviously if he's not here, this is fine. You need to know, like, you're not supposed to be here because of a reason, and if the opponent's not, like, so say you're not supposed to be able to split push 25 minutes into this game because they have Void and Storm. Storm with an Orchid and Void with Chrono. And those heroes are just farming a wave together because they're 4K. Okay, go split push. You know what I mean? Like, as long as you know why you're not supposed to do something, you can still punish mistakes, like, even if you shouldn't be allowed to do it. Like, even in my bracket, that still applies. Like, people don't play perfectly. So if they show information they shouldn't be revealing, or whatever, then you can capitalize on that. So in this case, now that you're bottom, if Void, like, you know the only reason it's bad is because Void should be here. And if Void's not here, then it's fine that you stay. Okay, so back to this game. Let me see. Did we know Storm didn't have a TP? See, like this though. I literally said that. Okay, sorry. That's really funny. I think this play was really scary, is how I look at this play. Like, the fact that you got the kill, it worked, but, like, in my opinion, they have so much fucking counterplay. I guess you see Void. I feel like I would not make this decision that you made unless I saw Void and Storm. Like, I feel like, from the knowledge you have, you should not know that Storm doesn't have a TP for this, and if Storm had a TP, you just feed. Like, that's how I look at that play. So I want you to understand that it's not, I don't want us to be results-oriented. I don't like that play, for that reason.
Yeah, I run into this mindset when I play Slark. Oh, I just need to be killing supports. Like, like I said, that's sort of my, like, job. Also, I think this CP was pretty bad. I got pretty tilted after I did it. Like, I knew it was pretty bad.
If I'm a jug and I don't have, if I'm a jug and I don't have Omni Slash, am I showing up to fights?
No, I recognized, like, right afterwards that this play was pretty fucking horrible. I was pretty tilted after this play, honestly.
So I think
saw those three heroes, and I knew that at best, like, Dazzle was keeping with me, but, like, is that really much of a, like I can't 2-on-3 the heroes here, even if I had, like, maybe if I had Shadow's Dance, but without it, definitely not. Like, it should have been really obvious to me because I knew they had 3 heroes there. I was in crisis mode where I feel like I need to, like, kill people with Slark. It was just really bad. It's like I recognized right afterwards.
So I'm trying to adjust your thinking. So, like, if I'm in a game, so you watched the tail end of that last session. If I'm in a game and I know I need a BKB in order to team fight, and a team fight goes on and I don't have a BKB, what's my consideration for showing up to that fight? If I look at that fight, what am I looking at it for?
If I have a numbers advantage, or like if they don't have heroes that have like their spells that can kill me. Like I knew that Storm had no mana, but I should have known that the other heroes had spells that can kill me. Because there was a Grimstroke
I
and
guess
a
like
Shadow Shaman.
so the most in-depth way, like the simplest way to put it is, if I need a BKB to fight and I don't have a BKB, I look at the team fight and I'm never fucking going. Like I'm not even considering going. My point is like the problem is you think it's even reasonable to consider this, and like the problem is like what I'm trying to say is you have a condition for what your hero's doing. So like Slark without ultimate is pretty garbo. Like he just doesn't do anything. Like unless you're snowballing out of control, the hero just doesn't do anything. Like like good players knowing you don't have ultimate will just say Slark has no ultimate, and they'll just 4-man collapse on you and kill you. Like it's a huge deal that you don't have ultimate. So whenever a fight's going on, don't go to it. Like just don't go to it. It's that simple. Like you shouldn't have to even consider this. The problem is not that you say, oh, they have abilities to kill me, all that shit. You're level 6 at 11 minutes. Go kill some creeps. Like, that's what I need you to think. Like, who cares about this? I want you to look at it so you understand what abilities were used and how much threat you're under, right? Like, meaning by staying bottom. I need you to know, like, if Storm has no mana, that matters for you. If you know Storm has no mana and Void used Chrono top, then you feel perfectly safe doing whatever you want down here, right?
Yeah.
That's what's relevant to you. Like, my point that I'm trying to make, I guess, the overall message is, it's happened before. You're not crazy. It's not like you're the only one. It's not like I don't do some semblance of this as well. Like, there's never a game in the fucking world that you have to try to do something that your hero can't do. Like, you don't have to kill shit because you're a Slark. If I'm an Ursa and they have 4 different heroes that can kite me, I don't care if I have 3 items. I'm not going to try to kill them. Like, I can't kill them, so I'm not going to. Like, there are games where Ursa can kill whoever he wants, but there's also games where he can't kill anybody. And you have to just accept that you can't kill anybody. Doesn't matter what hero you're playing. It's like, if I'm a Terrorblade and I'm supposed to be pushing towers, and they have Tinker, E.T., Batrider, and some carry that kills me. How many towers am I pushing? 0. Because I can't, right? Like, do you see what I'm saying? Like, when I
I understand. Trust me.
Yeah. Because when I used to play Terrorblade, that was my biggest issue. If it was a perfect Terrorblade game, I'd go like 20-0 and win the game. Because I would push all their towers and all that shit. If it was a bad Terrorblade game, I'd still try to push towers and just die. Like, that's, the point is, what do you need? Jobs of Slark is to kill people, but you need to actually know what it takes to kill people. So, like, you need items, you need abilities. So, like, in this case, you have no items or abilities. So, you have to know you're in the mindset of not killing people. So, like, if I play Ursa, I always ask myself, at what point am I a threat to these people? Like, at what point do I actually threaten these heroes? And before that point, I'm not looking to kill them. Like, I'm not trying to kill them. I ask myself exactly at what level, at what item, at what timing do I kill these people? And then who do I kill? And then I look for that person. But up until that point, I don't do anything. The point is, like, I know I've said a lot to you, and I know it does seem like you get it. Please, in your mind, have exact idea. At least try to. Like, make an educated, exact idea. Like,
it's easier for me to, like, I know what you mean, because it's easier for me to do this on, like, when I'm playing, like, Luna or stuff, and, like, I know my only goal is to farm until I get to, like, I want to build all my items and then build my BKB as late as I can, because at that point I'll be unstoppable, and then I walk into a team fight and we just win the game. It's just harder on Slark.
Okay, so I guess I play a shit ton of Slark, so it's one of those things in Dota where if you play a hero a shit ton, everything seems so simple to you that it confuses you when people don't know it. So I understand that happens. So, what I'm trying to say is it's no different on Slark. It actually just isn't different at all. The difference between Slark and Luna is that sometimes you have kill threat on people. That's literally the only difference. Like, what I mean is your farm is the highest priority. It's just sometimes you have the ability to kill people. Like, your number 1 priority on Slark is getting your items as fast as possible. And the only reason you kill people is because they conveniently deliver themselves to you. Or you cannot actually farm. Like, if you're Luna and you have no space to farm, what do you generally have to do?
Go to the safest part of the jungle possible.
If you have nowhere on the map to farm and you're a Luna, where do you have to go? What do you have to
do? There's nowhere to save.
Maybe this doesn't happen in 4K. If I'm in a pro match and there's nowhere safe to farm as Luna, what do I have to do at 12 minutes into the game?
Okay, so you're saying I can't farm the jungle either.
Yeah, there's nowhere safe. I have to make a smoke
Teammates.
eclipse play, kill somebody, and then it's safe to farm there.
Okay.
That's what I have to do as Luna. Like, my point is, there's two options in games. If you're in farm mode, are you in as Slark? In hindsight, are you in farm mode or kill mode right now?
I should have been in like total farm mode.
Okay.
Like I think I even realized this in the game.
It's
but
the same as Luna. It really
I
is.
get caught in the trap.
So,
I get caught in the trap.
What I'm saying is when's the only time I go for an eclipse play on Luna?
When you know, like when you know you could like smoke or just walk behind someone and wrap around with the support and like they're on their own. Like someone who maybe presents like solo.
Yeah, it's
no
like
pressure
you
to
know you
but if you
can.
have like a teammate, you can
There's
kill
two
them.
options. You know you can, meaning like you just have you're strong enough to just go kill that guy. And the other option is because you have no other fucking play. Like you have nothing else you can do on the map. Like you ask yourself, can I farm here? Can I farm here? Can I farm here? And all those answers are no. Go kill somebody with Eclipse. Like you just have to. Like you actually just have to. Otherwise you lose the game. Like when I'm on stream and I'm bitching to my teammates to help me come kill this guy, it's because I know I can't be anywhere else on the map and I can't be there if that guy's there. Like, you know what I'm saying? So my point on Slark is honestly the only time you kill people is when they're preventing you from just hitting creeps. Like that's why you kill them.
Okay, I got you. That's good because I definitely don't have that mindset when I play Slark. I don't know why. Like, he just feels very like wonky to play.
I got you. So I'm just really trying to hammer it in your mind that you don't need to feel the need to kill people on any of these heroes. I don't like this TP at all. This is the dead lane against 4 heroes that threaten you. So the way this works is your whole game was pretty much ruined by yourself when you played 7 minutes, or what you did at 7 minutes. So different carries play the game differently, right? Like obviously. So when you're Luna, when do you leave your lane when you're Luna?
Like whenever you can like jungle and farm that really well.
It's either whenever you're like so under threat you can't stay there anymore, or like as soon as convenient to jungle, right? Like that's your two.
Yeah, like in this patch, that's like 3 wraith bands, right? And like treads, and maybe a mask or like the quarterstaff. At that point, you clear the jungle faster than you'll ever.
But the point is, the reason why she leaves lane is because she's vulnerable to die, and she also farms really fast in the jungle, right? So the two reasons for her leaving is because she's so scared of dying, or she becomes so like she has enough items that it's efficient to jungle. Slark is a hero that actually can stay in his lane way longer than almost any carry in the game, right? Like there's very few carries that can stay in their lane longer than Slark. Slark goes in the category of like Lifestealer against no BKB piercing stuns, a Necro against like no magic burst damage in the mid game, a Weaver type hero when they have no lockdown. Like if you're a Weaver against no lockdown, you can just stay in the safe lane for 20 minutes, right? Like why wouldn't you? It's the most dangerous part of the map and nobody can kill you. So
yeah, like Weaver actually feels a little bit like Slark to me. Like I play a lot of Weaver and I feel really good whenever I play Weaver, but I don't like I think if I played my Slark more like I played my Weaver, that would be a lot more effective.
Yeah, I think it would be actually. Like Slark and Weaver do fall in a similar category. Obviously no hero is identical, but they do fall into a similar category in terms of how they play the map. So my emphasis that I'm trying to make is like you know, a lot of reason why any carry leaves the safe lane is because they die, right? Or like they're under threat of dying in the safe lane. The point at which Luna becomes threatened is much earlier than when Slark becomes threatened. So like a lot of times in the game as Slark, the most useful thing you can do ahead or behind is stay in your lane. Like that's actually the most useful thing you can do. If you watch me play Slark, unless absolutely necessary, like there are games where it is, unless absolutely necessary, I will be in my own lane for like 15 minutes because if I'm ahead, I'm taking the most dangerous farm on the map and I'm farming and none of my team has to worry about that area. If I'm behind, I'm doing the exact same thing. Maybe I'm just not being as efficient. Like the only time I leave my lane is when I just die to whatever they have. Like that's the only time that happens. And Slark's a hero that there's just very few games where at 10 minutes the enemy can just kill you. Like there's very few games. There are games. So like the goal is in this game, the way I think about it, they have a decent ways to kill you. But really, the only way they reliably kill you, if you have your ultimate, is Void. So I play the top lane, and then make Void come top, and then leave. Like, that's how I play it. like in this game specifically. And that's why the point that I'm trying to make is you can't, against a hero like Void, like Storm, as Slark, you can't TP to your own safe lane. Like, you just can't, because you need the option to be able to leave. You can't just be there. So this is something I used to do a lot. And I know I've been talking about this for a while. This, how do I word this TP? This is like, I'm a carry, I love being efficient TP. Rather than I love thinking about the game of Dota critically TP. Like, if you... So, did you hear that time where CCNC talked about how, like, if it would help players to, like, never hit a jungle camp?
No, I didn't. I never heard him talk about
that. So this was, like, maybe, like, 6 months ago. He said that, you know, it might help. It would probably help every, like, 4K and below player to just never hit a jungle camp. So at least it makes them think about what they have to do on the map. My argument would be, I think it would help every player to just never TP to their own safe lane. Like, if you want to go there, fucking walk there. I don't care. Like, even if you should TP, I feel like your bracket would gain MMR if you didn't TP to your own safe lane a single time. Like, the amount of times that it is correct to TP to your own safe lane compared to how many times it's wrong is like 10%. So, like, I would say for the short term, you should have in your mindset that you never TP there. The only time you TP there, the way I envision it is this. The best description for when you TP to your own safe lane is when you intend to stay on the top half of the map for 80 seconds, no matter what the opponent does, no matter what they do, no matter who they bring, no matter what goes on in the game, you are staying there for 80 seconds. And if you feel comfortable with that, you can TP to your own safe lane. Like, that's...
Yeah, like, I would have to know that like, the Storm and the Faceless Void have already used their TPs, basically, right? Because those are the two that
exactly. If
present
you
the most skill pressure on me.
If Chrono's on cooldown and you forced Storm to TP bottom, then guess what? You're allowed to TP to your safe lane in this game. Like, that's actually, in this exact game, the conditions, right? So... Yeah. That's the emphasis I want to make is you are planning to stay. You are declaring to me and the entire people in this game that you plan to stay on that part of the map for 80 seconds. If you ever listen to streamers, at some point, almost once every stream, you'll hear one of my teammates like Bulba. You'll hear them say, "They're Slark TP top. Give me 3 heroes top." Like, just run at this fucker. Make him walk all the way to the bottom half of the map. Because that shit is so punishable. Like, think about how punishable that is for you to do this TP, right? Like, what if they have Void walk through Vision in mid lane to here and have Tiny walk down top and Storm TP top? Where are you going?
Nowhere. I'm probably gonna
You're
die.
literally walking like this. Right? Like, that's what you have to do. That's what good players would do. So, like, even if your players in your bracket don't often do this, you're giving them a chance to do it. And it's also like, why not just hit this jungle camp? You've got 2 supports. The way I look at this is you're putting yourself at threat and you're neutering anything these guys can do. Like, they have no potential down here anymore because you're leaving. Like, not like, this is called like map sacrificing TP, like map control sacrificing TP. Like, you're just completely giving up any control on the map. You have no pressure top and you immediately become a liability. Or sorry, you have no pressure bottom. No pressure bottom and you're a liability. So you've effectively thrown the pressure of 2 lanes by TPing to this lane. So for you and everyone else watching, it may seem like a big emphasis on this TP. This shit is game losing. Like, I will emphasize that because I have been flamed very hard for these type of TPs. And I have lost qualifiers and not gone to minors and majors because of these type of TPs. So I'm emotionally invested in these type of TPs. Where the fuck's the Void?
I don't know what this Void is doing all game.
My point is, people who are watching are like, BSJ, he's getting kills! And I'd be like, this guy just has...
No, trust me, I'm like aware of like...
Yeah, if this guy has a fucking TP, you're just dead as shit. like, actually though. And this guy. Oh, this is hurting me emotionally.
I
Okay.
you'll keep watching, and like I literally wrote down in my little like notes, like I end up like I wrote down I get away with the greedy play, and then I get even greedier, and then I feed in like 2 seconds.
Okay. So
Not the feed.
Yeah.
I just like sometimes I don't have respect for like storm players and stuff. Like I just assume that I'm gonna outplay them, and I just like know that that's like so stupid. Like I just like
So
don't give enough respect sometimes.
basically what I will say is if you don't act like they will make good plays, that will get you to about 5.5, 6K max. What I'm saying is I don't care what bracket you're in. I don't care what bracket my 2K viewers are in. You guys need to assume the enemy is going to play their hero correctly unless they prove otherwise. Like, meaning that, you are thinking about diving top, Storm shows mid and has no TP on him.
Like you should always assume players are gonna play optimally.
Yes,
Because like if you don't, then like when they do, you just start feeding them
just
like
die.
an absolute retard.
Yeah, you
like,
just die. Yeah. So like, and my point is, especially for someone like you, is even if you win games because you make greedy plays, like eventually you're gonna start playing against players who don't do that anymore, and you're gonna be under the habit of making greedy plays, and then you're just gonna feed.
And I feel like the greedy plays don't even gain you more MR over average. Like if you were to just make the right play every time.
Yeah. I mean, it's just like I hate to make this analogy, but it's like the guy at my blackjack table that has 16 against a face card, and he just says, "I'm feeling like not hitting this one today," and it wins him the hand, and he gets so excited. I'm like, if you did that 100 times, you'd lose more often because you didn't hit your hand. Like maybe nobody plays blackjack, but the point is,
plus play.
Yeah, you're making exactly. You're making the EV plus play. So, like all these things I'm teaching you are meant to be fundamentally correct. Like there's no play that's wrong with it. Like if your intention is to play top all game to a dodge void and void comes top, guess what? In your bracket, guess how many times that void's gonna come top? 20%? 20% maybe? And during that 20%, you're prepared to leave.
Maybe even less.
Yeah, and that 20%, okay, let's just say 20% to be generous. And that 20%, you'll leave properly because we're talking about why you're doing the right things, right? But in that other 80%, you get to free farm top for 20 minutes, right? Like, and as long as you know that the way I look at it for punishing bad plays is my optimal play in this game is to farm top all game. So whenever I'm playing any hero, Luna jungling, right? Like, Luna, for her, jungling is the most optimal. Like, every hero is different. For Slark, it's actually playing your own safe lane. Like, that's the most optimal thing that hero can do. So, on every hero, I think to myself, what's the most optimal thing I can do? What prevents me from doing that? If that happens, what's my response? And that's all I have to think about. And the rest of the time, I just hit creeps, right? Like, meaning, as long as I monitor where Storm and Void are, then I'm perfectly free to hit creeps all game. Right? The reason why heroes like Slark, I think, are actually a really good help to learn these concepts is because what threatens Slark is way less than what threatens Luna. Like, it's just how it is, right? Like, I, for the longest time, struggled terribly to play heroes like Luna because I would always overextend. Because my understanding of, like, what was safe and what wasn't was, like, Slark. Like, I played it like Slark, where I'm just pushing towers and shit because as Slark, I could just pounce away. But as Luna, I just die. So it's like, my point is, though, Slark's a good hero to learn this shit because what forces you to react to them is very little. Like, you're usually playing your own game, like Slark. That's why he's a nice pub stomp hero. Because if you just run around the map farming, and the enemy team runs around the map farming with, like, not really knowing what you're doing, and you're just hitting creeps, you'll probably solo kill people while they don't kill you, right? Like, that's what's going to happen. So, the problem with you, actually, which is very interesting, is that you're not willing to farm on a hero like Slark. So I want you to get in the mindset that I'm telling you as like a tutorial basically is that Slark's perfect play is to play his own safe lane. So your only thought process, like simply put, it becomes a little bit more complicated as you get better at heroes, but like the simple thought process you have as Slark is when do you leave your safe lane? And if you have to TP bottom at 7 minutes, say you had no pull camp, okay? So say you had no pull camp and you had to leave top at 7 minutes, which would be reasonable because that was your only choice. You kill this void and he comes back and you're level 5. I think you're jungling here. Like, I think you're just jungling here, and I'm making
Yeah,
my way.
I wrote that down in my notes that I should have moved to my jungle,
So
and then this way I could walk over to the safe lane while
yeah,
farming.
literally, you're walking to your like. What I'm thinking to myself is my optimal play is to be safe lane, even though I was forced to TP bottom. My optimal play is to be safe lane. So my choices are to walk all the way back top or do something in the meantime. And so I have to figure out how. Like, the only thing I have to think about is how am I getting back? Like, what am I doing to go back? It's like if I was PL. If I'm PL and I'm against Brewmaster, okay, we're both level 6 or higher. If I am forced to TP to the enemy offlane and Brewmaster stays top, am I going back top?
No,
Why?
because Brewmaster is like scared of you, and you want to just hit creeps.
Yes, exactly. If I'm PL and I am and like same idea, and it's a Batrider top, and I TP bottom to get a gank, am I looking to go back top at some point?
How does PL do against Batrider?
Okay, yeah, you don't know.
I've never
Maybe you
thought of
don't. That's
that.
fine. It's a very good matchup for you as PL.
Okay.
So you want to go back to his lane. Like, the point is like the emphasis I was trying to make is it is important to think about your matchup when you're both level 7 or like level 8,
Yeah.
or if you're level 8 and he's level 6. Like, when I tell people the proper decision making, for instance, like if one player can't consistently understand that Pounce is used to escape against Grimstroke, that's like, I'm giving you a very basic example. Like, meaning, obviously, that might just be a one-time thing. But my point is, if you can get it down such that you're critically analyzing level 1 properly, then once you start doing that every game, you can start critically, like, doing it properly, analyzing your level 3, your level 7 matchup, your level 10, your 15 minutes into the game, both of us having 2 items, both of us having 4 items, like, because that matchup
Yeah, I'm
changes,
better
right?
at conceptualizing it with heroes that I've played. Like, it's definitely like a problem I have with like these specific I don't know, like the Slarks and like
The only way to
stuff
really
like
learn
that.
this is to watch as well. Like, you have to mix in a little bit of watching with critical think. Like, you have to watch better players play these heroes. Whenever I try to learn a new hero, almost always, and if I don't, I always regret it and I go back and do it. I always watch somebody that specializes in that hero play them 3 or 4 times. You're not going to understand everything they're doing, but they're giving you like 500 games worth of experience by watching them, right? Like, when I say that, I mean, like, you're watching the decisions that are supposed to be made after playing the hero 500 times, even if you don't fully grasp everything they're doing. So like for me, like, I always use this example, but like I struggled in lane as anti-mage, and I never really understood why. Like, and so I can have you heard this spiel before?
No, I haven't.
Okay. So I used to struggle in lane as anti-mage. Like, this was like a year and a half ago. I really didn't understand why every lane I played, I was like getting bullied out of my lane at like level 5. And I was really confused. I was actually just like, I watch these pro players and they have like free farm at 8 minutes into the game, and I'm level 5 and I'm getting fucking chased under my tier 1 and I can't do shit. What's happening? So what I'm used to is Slark and Lifestealer, those, and Ursa, these type of heroes. As the lane goes on, do Slark, Lifestealer, and Ursa get a lot more powerful, or kind of the same?
A lot more powerful.
They become a lot more powerful.
Can't they
with
like
levels,
fight
right?
the enemy offlane or
Like,
pretty
all of them have
relatively
very
soon into
good
the game?
scaling, farming abilities, or passives that help them trade and shit, right? Like, that's what Ursa, Lifestealer, and Slark all do. So as the game goes on, or as the lane goes on, if I just go even with those heroes, I'm going to be favored, right? What about Anti-Mage? Does he scale well as the lane goes on?
Okay.
Isn't that hero the exact same level 5 as he is level 1? He just has like 8 more agi.
Yeah.
Like, he's like the exact same. Like, that's all it is. So what
maybe his blink CD is a bit lower.
I mean, yeah, but like, compared to an offlaner that now hits for like way harder on nukes or whatever, you know what I mean? Like, it's not even close for how much they scale in the laning stage. So what I saw when I ended up watching anti-mage replays was I saw these anti-mages walking at people aggressively level 1. The minute they got level 2, blinking on the offlaner and hitting him 5 times. Like, they would sacrifice their own farm to establish dominance at level 1 and 2 because they knew if they didn't do that, by level 5, they're getting bullied out of lane. So, like, that's something I didn't understand when I was playing anti-mage, and then when I watched it, I learned it. So, like, if you're struggling in the mid-game as Slark, and you don't know when to farm or not, just watch somebody play Slark and choose and see why they kill people. Like, the point is, like, The rule on carries is to hit creeps. Doesn't matter what carry you're playing. The exception is killing people or doing something else or hitting a tower. And like every hero has different conditions for when they're supposed to do it. So Slark is an elusive kill split push hero. So play like an elusive split push hero and try to like watch players to understand why they actually go for kills. Good players will always have like an objective in mind for why they go for kills, or like a very clear like this hero is out of position, go for this kill. Like they'll have a very clear reason for doing it. So just know in your mind, like default to what you do on Luna. Default to just know that your farming patterns can be more aggressive on Slark. That's like the whole point. You can take more dangerous farm because you're a Slark compared to Luna. Like Luna wants to take this area and this area, right? Like Slark can start playing this area or all this area still, like 12, 13 minutes into the game. Was like earlier today or yesterday I played Slark and like I fed in the laning stage because I'm just a fucking idiot. But like if you watch my game from yesterday on Slark, from like 10 minutes onward, you can use that as material for what I'm talking about now, because like I did that part right. Watching this here, you're now pushing. Do you want to move on to another game, or are you good watching?
We can move here. Actually, pause for a second. Let me see that. I wrote down. Like I still have more annotations, but
yeah. Oh yeah. Go ahead and tell me moments in the game that you have, and we can fast forward to those.
All right. Let me see.
So is this one of them?
Okay. No. Let me see. No. At 19, I was farming the safe lane. I see a fight mid. I have no tower to TP to, and I start to run to the fight. I think it was just a horrible play.
So I will go to 19 real quick. I'm just letting you know. You're 250 gold off of Shadowblade. They're missing 4 heroes. Please. Thank you.
Run away?
Yeah. Yeah, run away. Sorry.
I think I got too greedy and fed here. I can't remember.
You're literally walking into tower when you don't threaten kill threat on anybody on their team. Shadow Shaman can protect himself.
I was looking for. I think my thought process was I'm gonna look for TPs, and if I see any, I'm gonna dark pounce into like a weird spot, and then.
So from a better Slark player, the way this works is you're gonna look there for a TP. The guy's gonna stun you, and then more people are gonna TP in, and you're gonna die. Okay, like that's what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
So my point is, the way I look at these type of towers is I push the lane into their tower. If nobody's here on their team, based on what I'm seeing, they're just being inefficient, and I'm gonna let them not be efficient, and I'm gonna go hit this jungle camp.
Yeah.
Like rather than knowing what they're doing, how about you just assume if they don't show up here, it's bad for them? Do you see what I'm saying? Like they're being inefficient if they don't show up. Okay. That's something that I like. Oh man, I have this issue where I'm like, I know they could gank me. And if they're not doing anything else on the map, they're being inefficient. And then I still let them gank me anyways, because like I don't have proof that they're not there. Like I'm like, make them prove to me they're here, and it's like, how about I just assume they're here because I know that's their right play. Like, like it's such a greedy thing to do, right? And you know that. So you said 19?
Yeah, 19.
We'll just fast forward to there. It's close enough. Notice anything here? Actually, you're not Shadowblade yet. No, I'm actually fine with you TPing your own safe lane. You didn't have your fucking Shadowblade yet.
And I saw there was a fight. I was like, all right, I'm gonna farm with it.
Yeah, that's fine. This is okay. This is the same thing. It's just understanding restrictions on Slark. You can push this lane into their tower, and now the fight's gonna be over. You have 2 heroes dead. Just like, don't go push this tier 2. Go push mid. Like, go do something. Go pick up this rune. Like the point is, don't. Just you just have to know.
Because like I saw that the only person who could TP and gank would be the Storm, but it would be after a fight. So I assumed he wouldn't like have too much mana, but like it's still not like
it's just you're Slark. You don't represent tower threat. Yeah, you don't get it.
Yeah,
that's
I don't actually get anything out of it, and I open up a small but very possible chance of me dying.
I've got a question for you. When a fight goes on bottom like that, and there's no chance of you actually dying, why is it really useful for you to run mid?
Okay, wait. Repeat the question.
So you saw a fight go on bottom. And I emphasize that the only reason it was bad for you to go top there was it didn't benefit you at all. It wasn't that it was a dangerous play. It just doesn't. You're just a Slark, so you don't represent any tower pressure.
Yeah, especially going to their tier 2 like that. That's useless.
Like the way I look at it is, if you represent no tower pressure, taking this farm is no different than hitting some neutrals. So like, why go here? Does that actually make sense?
No, it makes total sense. Like when I was in that game, I was thinking to myself, like, all right, like even though I just sat, like I remember afterwards I was like, okay, only the Storm can TP top and I'm not gonna die. But then I thought like I'm kind of just wasting my time and I'm not really like I'm hitting a tower when I'm never gonna kill it, and I could be farming like 2 camps in that time.
So last session, I talked to the guy about hitting the tower as much as he possibly could as a TA. To emphasize to you and the viewers why I'm talking about that is because as a TA, he's going to fucking kill the tower if nobody shows up. As Slark, you're not killing that tower. So, like, the difference here is, like, as TA, he threatens fucking tower pressure. So, hit the tower until
that's
they
like
show
what
up.
the TA hero does. Like, if I pick TA, I want to be doing that.
Yeah, exactly.
Slark, I don't want to be doing
yeah, exactly. The whole point of Slark, to be clear, once again for you and everyone else, is that his hero tells him when he is seen by the enemy team. So the last thing you want to do, if avoidable, is go in places where they can see you and your passive doesn't offer you any information. So with what I just said, that last point I just said, why would it be useful for you to walk mid while they're all bottom? Not only to push the wave, but also to walk mid.
If we win the fight, we can like do something with it. Let me think. I can tell if they have like wards across.
There you go. You can tell they have wards while you are not under threat.
Okay.
That is something that cannot be underestimated as Slark. To be able to scout for wards, knowing you are not under threat. Okay?
But you want to walk into the enemy jungle.
If I know a certain place on the map is generally dangerous on Slark, and it is temporarily safe, I will always walk through it. Like, I will always walk through it purposely to check and see if they have wards there. Like, for instance, if you watch me play Slark, if I know my own jungle's dangerous at 18 minutes and I see 3 heroes go bottom, if possible, I always go to my own jungle with a sentry and I look for a ward and kill it. Like, that's my highest priority. This is probably the only carry in the game that, unless I literally see a support lay a ward, this is the only carry in the game that I will buy myself sentries and carry 2 of them. It is worth it. Like, it is so worth it. Well,
that's really smart. I don't know why I never thought of that. Yeah, I never see people do it. Yeah, it's actually really smart.
Yeah, I mean, people are catching on. I think, to be, not delusional, but honest, I think I'm probably one of the best players at doing it on Slark. I D-ward really well. This new patch has thrown me off a bit because there's new ward spots that I wasn't aware of. It happened yesterday, but let's see this. Is this a recent game? Okay. Let me show you this real quick. Actually,
okay.
I want to fast forward to this. You're in my last session today, so I don't mind going a bit over. Okay. I just want to show you. I want to show you. I hate to say it for your questions on your own decision making. I want to talk to you about my decision making on Slark because I think that will actually help you more at this point than talking about the things you've done wrong. I want to show you my mindset on Slark. Okay, so.
The battle begins.
Just gonna fast forward until I see something relevant.
Thanks and have fun.
Did your support walk that creep away from you?
Yes.
Oh, that happened. So sad.
I was sad about that.
I actually love when people, when the enemy offlane was
yeah, I know. It's happened to me multiple times recently where I'm like, what are they doing?
Especially in my bracket, because like no one actually defends it, so you just have to walk farm the wave in the camp. It's so nice.
So that was a little bit of a mistake there, but we've got the good old triple wraith band going. I'm mostly focusing on the mid game, but if I see anything like alarming in this lane that I didn't see you do, I'll talk about it. So I do want to emphasize this game. What's forcing me to leave my safe lane? Look at their team.
When wait, so you're against a brew and a bounty hunter?
Yeah, and there are other heroes too. Look at all their
probably
heroes.
Like split. Split will really fuck you up early game.
Does split actually kill Slark?
Killing spree.
I don't know if it actually kills him, but like it means that Slark just cannot never fight the Brewmaster at that point. Like,
yeah, but can I die?
Probably not.
I actually just walk in and force a split.
You shouldn't die. You shouldn't.
Yeah, look at this. Like, I just walk in and force a split. They actually have nothing to force me out of my own safe lane. Like, so now that I have no ulti, I'm much less survivable. So I'm gonna chill, right? Like, I'm in this zone of I'm not leaving my safe lane unless I absolutely have to. But we force the split. They have Jug and Anti-Mage, so I'm not, like, afraid of staying here, right? Their mid's an Anti-Mage, their safe laner's a Jug. So I force him to
Aren't you worried all game about being out-carried by the AM?
AM doesn't out-carry Slark anymore.
Okay. Who actually out-carries Slark? Because I have like, no conception, but I just can't
So
tell.
why did Anti-Mage used to out-carry Slark, do you know?
Because he couldn't blink out? Oh no, he couldn't.
He could blink out. So he doesn't carry him anymore because he can't blink out.
Double.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
So the reason why he used to outcarry you is because he could free farm the map whenever he fucking wanted to and kill you with a +1. And now it's the opposite. Like,
Okay.
you could kill him with a +1. So notice how I'm staying top. I'm forcing 2 heroes to be there. Yeah, they're taking my tower, but like I was farming top that whole time. I'm basically enabling the rest of my team to play top. Notice how I have sentries on me at all times, whether given to me by my support or by my own hero. I will usually ask supports for the ward or for the sentries, but if they don't give them to me, I will buy my own.
Another thing, do you always go phase boots?
No, this was early on in the patch. I'd go treads. This was like first day of the patch. But like,
okay, so
no, what did you say about Brew? Remember what you said about Brew? I said
he can't actually kill you.
Can you kill him?
I feel like it'd be difficult because he can just run back one of
so
his
look at my
mercenaries.
approach.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack. Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Why can't you do that? Why can't you just show up in the lane that's dangerous and just ignore whoever's in it? Like, every time you were in a lane of Slark, you just, like, tried to go on the guy who was in your lane. Do you see, like, the difference there?
Yeah. You're just sort of, like, letting him chill.
Like, just chill. Like, you literally said you can't kill Brew, and he can't really kill you, so just show up in his lane. Like, but can he kill my Invoker? Can he kill my Dazzle? Can he kill my Ogre? Can he kill my ET?
Yeah?
Yeah.
Probably.
So that's why I'm here. Because he can't kill me. I don't kill him. Right?
Yeah,
like,
I follow.
Yeah. So I was in my own jungle. Let's see here. So this is my idea with warding. So the minute I'm seen, okay. So the minute you're seen on Slark, the best tactic, this is actually something I've probably not talked about in depth on stream before, is to immediately check where it is by walking behind trees. Like, trees tell you exactly where the ward is, because like if I walk here and the ward still sees me, I know the ward's not over here because it still sees me past these trees. So I know it's over here, right? But if I walk here and it still sees me, I know it's not over here and it's over here. If I walk here and it doesn't see me anymore, I know it's here, right? Like, you see that? So I'm in vision. I walk to the left. Now I'm not in vision. Immediate D-ward. See that? Like...
Yep.
So
I follow, trust me, it makes sense.
Yeah. It's always like... I always ask because the degree of which people follow me is very high variance
I see.
So in this game, what should I consider or this is something I should consider as Slark every game. What allows me to play this safe lane without giving a fuck? Do you know?
Let me look at the heroes. I mean, like who really ganks you on their team? Like,
If I push R and TP home, who kills me?
Yeah, like they don't have anything.
Nobody. So as long as I have mana to push R and TP home, I am unkillable in this lane, and I will play that accordingly.
Yeah, they're actually super bad against you. What do they even do?
Yeah, no. I mean, the guy last picked anti-mage because he was trying to outcarry me. But, like, that's why I'm not afraid of getting outcarried, because I know I can farm. But, like, why did I show up to a fight there? Look at what I was doing prior to the fight. Top lane's not pressured. I just shrined. A fight's happening. I was literally just jungling. I'm like, oh, there's a fight here. I'm coming. I have ult. I have everything. Oh, a guy shows up. I'm backing off. But as long as I have R and TP, I'm unkillable. So I will stay in this fight. Right?
Yeah, like, I think sometimes watching you, I think sometimes I hold my shadow dance like too little. Like I'm too early to pop shadow dance or whatever it's called.
Yeah, I mean,
Like
the point... Yeah, it is called Shadow Dance. The point of every single ability is, I think the most notable example I can give you... Notice where I went back to, by the way, after...
Safe lane, yeah.
After I got the fight. I will tell you right now, a big problem for players in my bracket, like, that are trying... Like, when I say my bracket, like, players that are ranked, like, 200, 300... It's something that I used to do a lot wrong, too. But they'll go to the wrong place after a fight. Like, a Slark would try to push mid. Or a Lycan would try to, like, jungle. You know, like, they're just going to do the wrong thing. Like, as Slark, I know my place to be is safe lane, ideally. So if I take a fight, I'm going to go safe lane, right? That's just what I'm going to do. So the point, though, to fix your problem about using Shadow Dance incorrectly is that You need to know what.
Honestly, I think it's just more of a games thing. Like I just need to have more games on the hero before I
Well,
feel
no,
comfortable.
no. The point though is, I will do this stuff correctly on heroes I've played less. The point is understanding what your ability actually offers you. Like, what does it do for you? Like, when I'm playing Slark, like, yeah, it's perfect on Slark, so I can give you a very in-depth example. But, like, a perfect way to think about Slark as well, but it also responds to heroes with blink daggers or, like, blink abilities. Is like, am I able to blink reactively? Or am I able to Dark Pact reactively? Or do I have to preemptively Dark Pact? Like, against heroes. Like, if they have instant disables, I have to preemptively Dark Pact. If they have, like, Sven and Venge as their only disables, I'm allowed to just hold Pact until I see them, right? Like, that's all I have to do. So, like, my point is, if you're a blink hero, like, you need to know if you can blink reactionarily, or if you have to blink, like, if you have to blink to safety before you even see them. So if you're in Shadow Dance this game, I know I can hold Shadow Dance, like,
Kind of like the difference between like an Ursa that has like blink or shock and like can like punch you, but you can reactively blink. But when the Ursa gets a Abyssal
Basher.
Blade,
Yeah,
yeah, once he gets an Abyssal Blade, like you sort of have to play as if he can always.
exactly. So, like, if you're in your game, the game you're playing against Void and Storm, anytime you go on somebody, you actually have to, if you pounce in, you have to preliminarily ult. And if you don't feel comfortable preliminarily ulting, should you do that play?
No.
No, that's the point, right? Is like, so like, the point that I'm trying to make here is all the plays that happen on the map correctly are because I'm on the right part of the map. Yes, this game is much more straightforward okay. This is actually beautiful. Why do I leave top right now? Why was I top earlier?
Because you had teammates coming and you had vision and you knew you could gank someone and just push? Or I guess
I'm talking about 9 minutes into the game. Why did I tell you I was top?
Because you want to stay there and farm and stay in your wave and like...
But what in relevance to the rest of my team? Why was it so important that I stayed top?
Because it's hard to gank you.
And
Because,
anyone else
like,
on my
that
team cannot occupy the lane, right? Didn't I say that? Like, nobody else on my team can take that lane. So why did I leave top?
Because people can take that.
Because the ogre's allowed to take the lane now that we killed people. Right? So now I'm going to go look for some kills. Because I don't need to be there anymore. Like, you see that line of thinking, right?
Yeah, I got it. If you can like let someone else take the map and let them do it.
And even though I don't kill that guy, I'm still like threatening an anti-mage. Like, being off map and threatening people is a big deal. Look at how much they're forced to do because I'm like missing on the map. And then I TP to the lane that nobody else is going to, right? Like, the idea behind the, like, every rotation has to have a purpose. So I go Kaya Yasha this game because we're against anti-mage. But the point is, like, I'm taking the part of the map that nobody else wants. Are we gonna push this tower with the lineup we have? We're not pushing a tier 2. So, like, that's why I'm the one bottom, right? Like, because I know that nobody else wants to, we don't want to commit team resources here. Early on in the game, I was top because I know my team doesn't want to commit team resources here. That's like what Slark does best. So when you're thinking about Slark as a hero, you have to think like, what part of the map does the team not want to dedicate resources to? Like, and that's where I want to go, if I'm allowed to be there. Like, in your game, you are more dictated by Void, but you still wanted to play top. The difference between your game and mine is in your game, you want to play top, but if one of their heroes chooses to, he can prevent you from playing there. So then you have to adjust.
Yeah, that's true for either the Storm or because the Storm was stronger than me for most of the game. So like, if I see Storm or Void, that's like those are the heroes that I put an X on, and when I see that X, I run away.
The difference between Storm now and before is like now you can actually kill Storm. So once you get Shadowblade, you actually kill him, and that's why like when you ask who outcarries Slark, Slark's only issue is like getting ignored. Actually, like his only issue is that he doesn't output enough damage. That's how his scaling falls off. Is that he's forced to build like defensive items or like forced to not build any attack speed items, and then he falls off because he can't threaten anybody. Like he doesn't do enough damage that by the time the enemy team can group up as 5, Like, they can just kill your entire team before you do anything, and then, like, you're just the last hero left, and you kind of just get ignored. That's, like, how Slark gets outscaled. So, like, in the past, he would get outscaled by heroes that could kill him that he can't kill. But because of how they reworked Pounce, there's actually just no hero in the game that he isn't a threat to. Like, he's a threat to everyone. And even the hero, you may say, like, BSJ, they could build a Force Staff. It's like, yeah, but 80% of the heroes that outcarry you in the past don't build Force Staff. Like
Storm never wants to build Force Staff. That's like such a
building
momentum
a
loss.
Force Staff. The hardest counters to Slark right now are the ones that still counter him. And what I mean by that is they threaten kills on him, but he doesn't kill them. I'd say Void's a hard counter just because even though you threaten him, if he has Chrono, you don't threaten him. And then OD is probably the hardest counter. I think people underestimate this hero, but he's also just really good against Slark in general because he can Astral himself or teammates when they're pounced. And then he also naturally builds Force Staff. And then also he can like one-shot. He can like take 2/3 of your health with just pushing R because Slark has no end game. So like it's just one of those things where that hero, in my opinion, is still the only hero that hard counters him because it's the only hero that didn't get the matchup didn't get affected by the rework of the Pounce. Like it didn't, like all the other matchups like Storm, Void, Ember, all these heroes that used to be like really good against Slark are actually not that great anymore because they can't get out of Pounce. The only reason I think Void is still pretty good is because if he chronos you, you're still just fucked. So it's like that hero's still fine. But like Void used to be a very hard counter to Slark, and now he's a very soft counter. So I knew I was in a ward there. I was seen, and since I saw them top, what's my immediate reaction? To run back to that area and find this fucking ward. Like, that's so important that you do that. Like, that's what I was, like, trying to show you these examples. I fly myself my own sentry. And if I play alone, and fights happen on the other part of the map, it's even better. So that whole idea of knowing where the enemy team and your team want to fight is so important. Because if you know where they want to fight, and you go elsewhere, it also sets you up to easily deward them. Like, because you know they're fighting elsewhere. So notice how in this game, it's not a coincidence that I'm like, I have the liberty to deward them, right? Like, there's no way they're going to be playing, like, I see them top. Like, that's the whole point.
Yeah.
And Slark, when you have these types of heroes, the difference between Slark and Luna is Luna usually needs to be protected when she farms, right? So she'll usually walk down lanes with teammates, or she'll just take the really safe farm and flash farm it. The thing about Slark is he doesn't farm as fast as Luna, but if you're against a hero like Luna, a hero like Jug, right? Look at where they're forced to play. It doesn't matter if these heroes innately farm faster than I do. If I play the map properly, this is where they have, this is what I have. Like, this is all me, right? So the way, like, the reason why you said, like, didn't you feel scared to get out carried by Jug and Anti-Mage? And then, like, when people say, like, in chat, like, you know, this hero out farms this hero, so it out carries it. The people in chat, as well as just, honestly, anyone that's below, like, 5, 6k, like, if you're probably below 6k, they don't understand what pressure means, like, what playing the map properly means. So, like, they don't, they think of the game very black and white, like, this hero farms faster than this hero. And the late game, they're better. So they'll get there. They're going to be, it's going to be better. Like, if I look at our two lineups, like, I think their late game's pretty good. But if Jug and Anti-Mage are forced to split this area of farm, so the farm distribution looks like this, their late game's not scary anymore because they have one hero and we have 3, right? So,
yeah,
like, that's the idea, is like, if you don't pressure and you don't play the right part of the map as heroes like Slark, yeah, they're just going to farm 2 lanes, 3 lanes, and all these heroes are going to have farm, and then you're going to get out carried. So, but the emphasis is this whole time, in 20 minutes, there was like 1 fight I participated in and like 1 minute that I was running across the map looking for kills. The rest of the time, I've been hitting creeps. But notice how I was forcing people to commit 3 heroes to kill this tower. I was forcing people to, like, out of their jungle. You know, I was actually, like, running around the map while farming, because that's where I wanted to farm. Like, I didn't defend this tower for the sake of defending this tower. I was farming while defending this tower, right? Like, that's, and then I gave it up the minute I knew I couldn't defend it anymore. That's the kind of stuff where you need to not panic because you're playing heroes that kill people. Like, right now, like, I'll just fast forward briefly, and we, you know, Like, I'm just gonna farm creeps, and then, oh, there's no more creeps to farm? I'm gonna go look for some kills. Like, there's nothing forced about this, right? Like, oh, I finished farming the area I wanted to farm. I don't offer tower pressure. So if you're a hero like Luna, right, you may determine that it's more effective for you to hit this tower than it is for anything else. The thing about Slark, that's the main emphasis, is once you push the lane into their towers, you've kind of done your job, right? Like, in terms of farming. Now go look for kills. Like, as Luna, if you get that split push pressure on, you can turn that into tower damage. You can turn that into maybe a Roche or something. As Slark, all it turns into is kills. Like, all it turns into is tower pressure. So I push the lane in. Same with Ursa, by the way. I get the lane pushed in, and then I go look for kills. That's what I do. So, like, you feel the need to do what is necessary in regards to farming, like you just said. You got me.
Gotcha. And it seems pretty also, like, when I think about it, it's probably really good that Slark does this whole, like, split push farming thing, because you get to, like, create space for, like, you get to pull, like, waves out so you can't get pushed easily. So if they actually do win a fight, they can't, like, walk down and take, like, all your tier 2s.
You have to split push lanes efficiently on Slark, more importantly, because Slark's a garbage teamfight hero. He wants skirmishes, so you actually want to drag the opponents apart. Like, you want them to be separated, because if you don't push effectively, you'll be forced to deal with 4 of them at once, and Slark does a very poor job of that. But like this kind of stuff, like, yeah, like, thanks. See how they have no counterplay, because I know they're dead and I saw 2 heroes bottom, so I'll chase that guy to the ends of the earth. It's like, it's not like it's an amazing kill or anything, but like, there's no possible counterplay to that. When I saw you making plays, like, would I make that play against Storm and Void? No, I'll never making that play, right? And that's the point of these types of heroes, is you have to distinguish when you're allowed to play aggressively. And so if you have one more game we can briefly watch for about 5 or 10 minutes, we'll call it after that.
Yeah, sure. Let me see. I want to watch one of my Luna games, because I remember, I felt like I was playing really, really badly.
Okay.
But I wasn't entirely sure what I was supposed to do. Let me see if this is the one. Yeah, this is the game.
Nice. I looked at the time and it's 3-2-2. It's good shit.
Oh wait. This is the match ID. Same one.
That's
no, sorry,
one.
my bad.
New one, sir. New one. Okay, so watch replays.
I didn't annotate this game like I did the Slark one, so I can't remember exactly what I thought I did wrong.
Do you want me to watch or skip the laning stage?
I think I wanted to watch this one for farming, like, patterns. I think I had a couple throws like game that were just me being, like, really tilted.
Okay, so I'll fast forward to 10 minutes and see what situation you're at.
I think I tried to focus on farming patterns. Yeah, that sounds about right to me.
Okay, so where are you at here? Okay. I usually say at least 2 points in beam. That's my opinion. I've seen people max aura, so I think, like, that's fine. Like, people are doing that now. But like, I do think 2 points in beam is pretty necessary. I feel like you have to have some semblance of threat. Like, level 2 beam's enough to at least make Eclipse do some damage.
I've been thinking about that, because some games I have Eclipse at, like, level 8 or 9, and I know I could fight, but then I realized, like, oh fuck, my Lucent Beam does nothing.
The games that I realize I have the most problems on Luna is it's not worth the farm efficiency to not have any threat on the opponent. Like, it offers so much that you can actually kill somebody if you have the, like, if they step too far, that you can actually threaten them. So this is a spot where even if you live, this is really bad. So
no, it was dumb to go that far and then off lane. Like, it was just
so, like, the way that I approach heroes like Luna, right? You're much less survivable than Slark. So I look at it as, so on Slark, you think what lane you want to play in, and then generally you'll play there, unless something very specific happens. On Luna, it's kind of the opposite, where I think what lane would I push if I was allowed to, and then I only go there when I'm allowed to. Otherwise, I'm jungling near that lane. So, like, in this case, it is top. Like, you are on the right part of the map, but Luna's just so squishy. So go hit jungle camps until you see all the heroes you need to see in order to actually farm the lane. And most oftentimes what that usually means is you're just going to be under tower anyways. You're going to, like, let the lane push into your tower. when I play these heroes like Alk or Luna, these types of heroes, most of the time you're jungling near the lane that you want to farm, and then you're farming it under your tower. Like, that's almost how it always goes, because you're just not survivable or strong enough to walk out of your tower. Like, you're just not. So you need to have more disciplined mindset of, like, right now you're in the right part of the map, but just jungle until the lane pushes in. Like, on Slark, this is or the game I was watching the guy play TA. When you do this kind of stuff, you'll see this and be like, I shouldn't be here, and walk away. So the punishment is that you wasted time. On Luna, it's that you get killed, right? Like, that's the punishment. So it's just a much more important understanding to have on these heroes. And that's why when it comes to being on the right part of the map, it's easier to practice playing heroes like Slarks, because the punishment for doing it incorrectly is much less on Slark. So, like, this is what you should have been doing already. And this is what you should not be doing. So the emphasis that I'm going to make is, just because you got ran at and brought down to 200 health or whatever, does that change where you should be on the map?
No, I should just be waiting for them to push into my tower and farm.
Yes, have more conviction. Like the last game you did it too. Have more conviction. If you need a salve to play up there, you fly yourself a fucking salve before this Morbid Mask. Okay? Like, I don't care what it is. Whatever it takes for you to play top, fly yourself those items. You need that, right? If you need to play top, what you need to play top means you have to go to base to regen, go do it. You have to be top. On Luna, the thing about Luna that makes her slightly difficult, actually, what people don't realize, is in most games, there's only one place on the map that's okay to farm. Like, there's only one correct place. There's only one. That's the thing about Luna that's difficult. So she's a good hero for working on farming patterns at an advanced level, because there's usually only one. In this game, it's top right now. Like, right now, it's only top. So if you leave top, you're doing incorrectly. You are playing the game wrong. So first off, you're more easily gankable in your own jungle. Secondly, if something else happens on the map, the only thing you can possibly offer in terms of split push pressure is pushing the top lane into their tower. And also, remember how I talked about the top lane. The reason why the top lane is such a big deal for you is because most of the time you can't farm it, right? Like, you literally just saw, you walk up and you get brought down to low and or die or whatever. So what makes it even more important that you're farming top, or that you're near top, is that if they give you the ability to farm it, meaning they reveal 4 heroes mid or 3 heroes bottom or whatever, you have to be right there to farm it before they get back, because if you give them 5 seconds to get back there, it might be enough to kill you. You see what I'm saying? Like, you have to be ready to farm that area. The discipline you have to have, like, you are not allowed to leave the top area, is what I'm trying to say. So this is something I used to do a lot. It's like, you have to be willing to accept the minor amount of inefficiency in order to be on the right part of the map. You got more farm by being here. It's still incorrect. Like, I don't know how else to explain it.
I think I get it. That was just a big really bad.
Yeah, I'm glad you see
like,
that.
I'm not gonna say it's a good player or anything. Like, I'm not like that dumb or some shit.
What should be happening is that exact thing happening to one of your teammates in the jungle, and then your choice is to push this lane or TP to it. Like, that's how this game should be going. Like, that is where they're going to make a play. Like, I'm telling you, I know that. That's where they're going to make a play. So the idea is, you don't want to be there, right? Like, you want to have the choice to be there. You don't want to be forced to be there. So if you have the choice to be there and it ends up being good for you to be there, that's when, like, those are really good TPs. And generally, even after you show up to this fight, where would you go?
Up.
Yeah, you would do exactly what you just did now.
Unless there was some, like, weird rotation.
So this game kind of got reset, meaning, like, what should have been happening was you were top. This happens, you TP, you use Eclipse, and then you farm your way back top. So this game kind of reset itself right now in terms of, like, where you are on the map, okay? So now, once again, it's 15:54. Just wait for the camp's top to farm. Like, just wait for them to respawn. Stay around top. This is very inefficient. Like, what you can be doing, because you see Sand King bottom, or sorry, top, and you see Mirana bottom, and you see Naga in her jungle, you should be waiting right here. So you check this rune. You check this rune. Like, you're waiting at 15:54 or whatever. So during that time, you're saying, I'm waiting for this rune. If by the time this thing spawns, if it's a rune I can use, cool. Otherwise, based on what I see, my choices are what? If I see this and there is a rune or not a rune, what are my 2 choices based on what I see on the map? Because I already see Sand King. I see Sand King. I see Mirana. What are my 2 choices from here?
Sorry, 1 second. Someone PM me. I guess I see Sand King and I see Mirana down there. Farm the topside jungle and then hit it, keeps my tower.
You have 2 choices. It's that or one other thing.
Push mid.
Yeah. So that's why it's important to be here. And that's why you need to stop doing this shit. Like, I do it all the time. I used to do it all the time. This is AFK farming. Farming this, and then going here, checking this rune, and then deciding whether or not to go here or here is not AFK farming. This is AFK farming. Okay, like, when people tell me I AFK farm, like, it really bothers me. Like, I should just get over it, because I know they don't know what they're talking about, but, like, if you're just farming these camps all game, because they consistently are defending this tower, and, like, not showing enough heroes for you to allow to be in lane, that's fine. Like, that's life, right? Like, that's what you're supposed to do. But, like, in this case, it's actually really good if you had been here, and then you hit this tower. Like, what I've learned, it's very recent, but what if you just hit this tower 3 times, suddenly their heroes start missing, and then you back off? Imagine, like, how much that, like, if you look at it from the opponent's perspective, they see a Luna hitting a tier 1.
You're wasting a lot of their resources.
Like they see a Luna hitting a tier 1. How likely is it that they're going to show up here?
They're almost definitely going
to show up. So you hitting this tower actually offer, like, but if you don't go hit this tower, how many of their heroes are going to show up mid?
None probably.
Maximum 1. Maximum this Naga, like, conveniently, like, this Naga should be defending.
Can I pull impact, like, if I push down mid, like, they can't just TP just in, like, an AA, like AA.
Exactly. They have to TP
to, like,
this guy.
rotate more resources than they have to spend more resources than I divested.
Exactly. So that's the idea of not AFK. Okay. So you walking from top to bottom here just to get that camp started 3 seconds earlier is AFK farming. That's what I want to be clear about. So you should be on the top half of the map from 11 minutes or so until now. You still should be. You shouldn't have left top. You actually lost that top tier 1 because of the way you've been playing. They shouldn't be allowed to take your bottom tier 1 and then solo take top with the Sand King. So all this is fine. I kind of expect, since you guys are losing, to be playing on the back foot all game. Like, you should be, and then you return to top. This is good. And then, you know they're dead on Mirana and Sand King. You see all their heroes, so you push in top, but you don't go to the tower. This is good. Now go back to your camps. This is good. So for me, the way I look at this, you remember how I talked about Slark? For me, this is my home, and the only 2 deviances are, or 3 I should say, is if a fight goes on, I don't want to show up, I push. A fight goes on, I do want to show up, I TP. Or they reveal what they did and I go mid. Like, those are my only deviances, but, like, otherwise I'm in this area the entire time. Like, and then defending this tower. What happens if I can't defend this tower alone?
Can't defend the tower alone?
Yeah. Because there's,
I
like,
back off and I farm?
Or you say, somebody fucking TP top that can help you. Like, say, you know, in each game who can help you. So say, hey, I need you behind me. Let's defend this tower. And if they don't show up, then you give up the tower. But you first try to do that. Okay. So now, yep, you immediately run back top. You see the mid, you should immediately run back top again. Like, you should go kill the wave before you kill this jungle camp.
Oh, I was doing it because I knew it would reset afterwards. Like, if I do,
no, I'm saying the 1908 is what I'm talking about.
Oh, then okay, yeah, I got you.
Like, you saw them mid here. Like, you just saw them, and you should run.
Yeah. So I should have pushed away first.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I got it.
Okay. And the emphasis on Luna. Okay, yeah, this TP, I don't love it, but I think it's okay. I'm not gonna hate it. It's not as bad as the other one. So this is an example that I don't have enough discipline still myself. When you see this, you actually need to run top right now. It is so important that you run top right now. I don't give a shit that this is an ancient camp. You have to run top when you see this. This guy's dead, and you see these 2 guys. Like, you have to push this wave in. You have to force somebody on their team to go top.
Yeah. Like, I'm just playing the game as much as, like, an AFK simulator and forgetting that I still have to, like, exert pressure on the map.
I have done this before as well. You're seeing it, right? Like,
I got it.
Look at that top lane.
Yeah, yeah.
That top lane, the thing
Like,
is,
basically the idea is that I could be putting out infinitely more pressure and forcing TPs, and therefore forcing them off my towers, which therefore it gives me more space. But I
yeah,
don't do any of that, so I lose towers. I then subsequently lose more space to farm.
yep,
Yeah, it cycles. I got
yeah,
it.
you're seeing it. You're seeing it. That's good. That's all I care about. Is you're seeing it. It'd be nice if everyone else sees it, but at least the person I'm coaching is seeing it. So, and this is why this tower is still there. This is why your lane is here. This is why they're allowed to group up here while pushing this tower. It's because of what you did like 3 minutes ago. Okay, like I know that sounds crazy, but what happens is if you don't exert pressure, the map slowly but surely closes in on you. So it has to start somewhere. Usually by the time, I will tell you on your own replays when you're looking, by the time you're at this point, you need to rewind like 5 minutes and then look for why you got here. Okay.
Yeah, definitely.
It
Like
is not
it's easy to
something.
look at a mistake in a game, but like not realize that the mistake was actually like 5 minutes ago.
Yeah,
and you
what
were just doing it
happens
wrong
is
the whole
people
time.
see this in your bracket, in my bracket even too. They see this shit and they know it shouldn't be happening. They're good enough to know this should not be happening. But by at this point, it's too late. Like, it's already too late. There's like
Yeah.
no proper play for you guys to make. You can't actually kill the Naga, and they can just run bottom too. Like, they can just run
This is
away.
a case that like if I had pushed in the top wave like better,
Yes,
I
if you had
probably
pushed
wouldn't
in
be
the
dealing with this.
what happens is if you had pushed in the top wave, they would be defending with Naga, and then you guys can commit 5 heroes here and kill them.
Yeah.
Okay, that's like the difference. Or they don't defend at all, and you trade this tier 1 for this tier 2. That's like the two choices you have. When you play inefficiently, this is what choices look like. Like, that's what it looks like.
Yeah, no, it makes sense. Like I gotta keep like lane pressure up.
Yeah,
On
one of my biggest
price.
deals on runes when I got flamed by my teammates for like one of the biggest things I got flamed for was not doing what you just didn't do on Luna. Like if you're a hero that's incredibly squishy, like Drow, Luna, these types of heroes, when the enemy gives you an opportunity to hit a tower or hit a creep wave, it is paramount that you hit the tower or the creep wave because your ability to hit them is so limited. Like, the amount of time in the game that you're actually safe enough to hit creeps is very small. Like, hit lane creeps and towers and stuff, it's so small that if you miss the windows, you just lose map control. Like, that's just how it works, right? So the reason why it's nice to practice on Slark is because you have much more window room for error. But on Luna, like, I actually think Luna is like the final step in terms of like practicing very good farming patterns because as you've seen this game, like, the only time you'll ever leave top in a game like this, in the mid game, like 11, 12 minutes in, is if you somehow force them to bring 4 heroes here and then you just leave. Like, right? Like, but it's kind of like in the other game. The only reason you're leaving the safe lane is because the void came to your lane, so you go here. Only reason I'm leaving here is because there's a huge fight here I want to show up to, or they brought 4 heroes here. So I imitate what I would be doing top, bottom, right? But the reason why you default to top rather than bottom is because the ability to apply pressure here is much easier than it is here, right? So, like, you don't want to try to apply pressure down here. You're only going to do it if they force your hand. Like, that's why, like, this is the dead lane, but if they bring 4 heroes here, this is the dead lane, and you go bottom. Like, that's, you know what I mean? So the dead lane concept applies here too. So yeah, I think overall, do you have any final questions before we call it?
I'm just what are your thoughts on like the best like farming carries this patch? Like it looks to me like Naga's actually like a lot stronger than I thought she would be.
I think Naga's okay. I think Naga's pretty good. I'm not 100% sure on how good she is. I know she's good, but I don't know how good. I believe Naga's good. Slark is still very good. I think Slark's good. If there's a patch to work on Slark, it's now. Not very often is Slark actually very good. So if you want to learn Slark, it's a great patch to do it. I think.
What do you think of Medusa, by the way?
I haven't
Like,
gotten to
with
see
her,
her play out. I think she might be too slow in terms of a hero. Like how long it takes her to come online in this patch. I feel like a lot of games are actually over by 20 minutes. But I feel like there are probably games where Medusa would be super good. Because they gave her some significant buffs. But the thing about it is I don't play a ton of Medusa, so knowing exactly how those buffs affect her, I don't know. So I would say she's potentially quite good, but at the same time, as I mentioned, games are coming online really fast at like 10-15 minutes. So if the hero doesn't, I'm a little afraid to pick them other than situationally. Like, I think at best Medusa is very powerful situationally, but I don't think she's a hero you can, like, pick a lot of games and it'll go well. That's, like, my opinion. She's good against specific heroes. Like, I think she's good against these mid laners that rely on pushing your tower, and all your job is just sit at your tower and defend it. I think that's when she's good, like DKs and stuff. But other than that, I think she's not too great. Any other questions?
No, I'm all good.
Cool, man. Thanks for signing up. I've been like losing my voice over the course of the day, so apologize about that. But have a good one, man. See you later.
All right, have a nice night or nice day, I guess.
Yeah, you too, man. So Slark thought process. Slark /Luna.